Hello there, welcome back. This is Mr. Benji again. In this tutorial, we're going to go through some questions under the banner of biological psychology, okay? The biology of mind. And quick reminder, biological psychology concerns us with the relationship between our anatomy slash physiology and behavior, okay? And behavior. Now to the first question here, a biological psychologist would be most interested in conducting research on the relationship between, well, the first thing you need to note is, well, biological psychologist. This is the kind of psychologist who pays attention to, again, the relationship between biology and behavior. So the answer will have to be one, a biological category or a physiological category, and the other a behavioral category. And when you scour all of the options, this is the best answer. Option C is the best answer. Neurotransmitters and depression. Neurotransmitters, these are the chemical messengers responsible for chemical neurotransmission in the synapse. Do you see? In the synapse. And to be more precise, we're talking about the messages being sent from an axon terminal into the synapse, and for the receiving dendrite to pick up that message through putting out receptors, okay? Receptors that are specific to the kinds of neurotransmitters involved. So this is the best answer. When you look at the other options, however, you do not see a clear connection between a biological category as well as a behavioral construct. Okay, C is the best answer in this case. Consider this question. Which of the following conditions, based on the most up-to-date observations, is most closely linked to an undersupply of serotonin? Now, an undersupply of serotonin is almost observed in every case of individuals struggling with depression. Okay, there's overwhelming evidence pointing to such, which is why since the late 70s and early 80s, a class of antidepressants referred to as SSRI came into the picture. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Okay? One such example is Prozac, which is nicknamed the star of the 80s. Just that in the early 80s, in the early to mid 80s, Prozac was an extremely popular drug prescribed to support individuals struggling with, well, it was prescribed for people struggling with almost any sort of mood disorder, primarily those who struggle with depressive symptoms. And the way that selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor works is this. Now, you do realize that the process of reuptake is for the neuron, is for the axon terminal, where serotonin, the neurotransmitter serotonin was originally released. This neuron would take back some of the serotonin released into the synapse. Okay, just quickly label this the synapse. Okay, so reuptake is a natural process to regulate the levels of the neurotransmitter in the synapse area, in the synaptic cleft. Now, what SSRI does is, as the name suggests, what it does is it inhibits the reuptake therefore resulting in a net increase of serotonin levels. Do you see? Depression is the best answer. Not that serotonin is not involved at all in the other conditions, but there's the strongest of correlation. There's the strongest of connection between serotonin levels, in particular, an undersupply of serotonin when the brain does not produce enough serotonin to facilitate the individual's experience of depressive disorders or depressive symptoms. Okay, let's take a look at another question. Motor neurons transmit signals to... So you do need to recall motor neurons as well as sensory neurons, they make up the complementary system as in the somatic nervous system. Okay? So the somatic nervous system consists primarily of two main kinds of neurons. The first, sensory neurons, and the second, motor neurons. One way to think about the difference between the two is sensory neurons, they're primarily tasked with the responsibility of bringing sensorial stimuli from your extremities, from various different parts of your body to the central nervous system. Whereas with motor neurons, they're responsible for bringing messages from the central nervous system to various different parts of the body. And for motor neurons to deliver messages from the central nervous system, some primary targets that the motor neuron directs messages to, they include muscles, organs, and glands. Now back to the question. The best answer would then be glands. Okay? The best answer would then be glands. Glands can be internal or external. Glands that are internal in the body, their primary function is to release hormones. Okay? Their primary function is to release hormones into the bloodstream so that the blood can carry the hormone around, alerting the entire body of the message that the hormone brings. It could be a stress hormone, it could be a sex hormone, it could be various different kinds. It could be an appetite increasing or appetite suppressing hormones too. So these hormones, they regulate the body's function. They regulate various different kinds of functions in the body. Okay. Now all the other answers, none of them are good answers because motor neurons do not transmit signals directly to any of these. Okay, they don't. Just keep in mind the directionality of the messages being sent, the signals being sent. Next question. For a child to anticipate that they will be punished for hitting a schoolmate is a function of the... Now, if you consider the question there, for a child to anticipate that they will be punished for hitting a schoolmate, Such thinking process involves some complexity. It involves integration of information. It involves integration of how they feel, what they experience thus far. Okay? So we're looking for an area of the brain that does such an integration, okay, that does such an integration, and then afterward offers perceptions that are relevant to the information there. The best answer in this situation is association areas, because association areas, this is the name of these parts in the brain, the name given to these parts in the brain that are responsible for pulling in various different stimuli. Stimuli from various different organs, stimuli from the external, as well as the individual's internal experiences, memory, and also personality tendencies and whatnot. The association areas, these are the areas where integration takes place. And right here, let's go through one more question. Let's go through one more. People can feel someone shaking their hand because whatever, send messages from the hand to the central nervous system. Okay? From the hand to the central nervous system. Now, what exactly are we talking about here? For this one, you ought to remind yourself of a discussion that we've just had earlier. So consider this question. People can feel someone shaking their hand because, and we're trying to figure out what within our nervous system is responsible for sending messages from the hand to the central nervous system. And relevant to a conversation that we've just had, these are the sensory neurons. Sensory neurons, they bring messages from the external, from our extremities, from various different body parts to the central nervous system. I hope this tutorial helps. Hit the like and subscribe buttons to stay up to date of quality tutorials that can help you succeed in your studies. You've been watching Mr. Benji at Mr. Benji Now on YT. I'm a college instructor in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Until next time.